But the spells that I think we picked here are good, solid choices. With a couple of tweaks, I think they would be, perfect to add into any game.
I was like this close to picking wardrobe malfunction, which is hilarious, and it's a cantrip. And if you have no wardrobe to malfunction, it summons wardrobe on you to malfunction.
Now, we're close to finishing the top 10 homebrew spells for D&D Beyond.
Yep, all that's left is the enchantment scroll, so let's jump in there and get to it.
I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
I'm Nerdarchy Dave. Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds.
Now let's enchant you with some of these amazing spells.
If you're familiar with this video series, then you know everything I'm about to say. If you're not, this series is inspired by articles over at nerdarchy.com, a factor of 3. And what we're going to do here in this video is we're going to go over the top 10 homebrew D&D Beyond spells for this particular school of magic, Enchantment. And the way we figure out what the top 10 is, we look at the number of views. So that to us says this is what people seem to be most interested in. And then we go through those top 10, that list, and then we'll each pick a spell that we're kind of interested in. Maybe we like the name, maybe we like what it does or the intention behind it, and we'll discuss that. So I'm going to grab my handy dandy device here so that I can read that list for you. Number 1, we have Arg. Then we have Lavor's Zone of Truth or Dare, Power Word Yeet, Turn Undead, Anther's Overpowered Arcana, Flash Mob, Blood Contract, Wardrobe Malfunction, Arcane Anchor, Curse of the Sparkling Fairy.
So just off the top, just the names, there are a number of things that are just off-the-wall bonkers right there.
Yeah, like, first of all, I think Turn Undead has showed up a few times now, and I was like, well, that's a class feature, so that doesn't really belong here. Power Word Yeet, I know you're a huge fan of that.
I'm not a big fan of the word yeet. Yeah. I know it's getting into popular culture, and before long, it's going to be a legitimate word. My kids use it all the time, and it just drives me bonkers.
Yeah, you're resisting, but it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, so there was a couple that were very interesting. It was a little bit harder to pick this time around. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a series of articles on the website, Factor of 3, and that's where Nerder Doug does what we do, but by a factor of 3. So we'll include the link down in the description so you can go check that out if you want to see some other top 10 lists.
It's only fair to mention that this video is sponsored by D&D Beyond. So if you want to go check out the list of spells, you can create a free account and look at all the homebrew stuff that's there, and more importantly, get into the spells that we're kind of pointing out today. So first one up is Lavor's Zone of Truth or Dare. This is going to be my pick. It's a 2nd level spell, casting time of an action. The range's area is a 60-foot, and it's a 15-foot sphere. Verbal somatic components. Duration is 10 minutes. Obviously, it's enchantment. The attack save is charisma, and it's a control effect. You create a magical zone that infiltrates the mind of all creatures in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range. Creatures that can't be charmed are immune to this effect. Until the spell ends, the caster can ask a creature within the spell's area to truthfully answer a question or instead perform a task of the caster's choosing. The target creature can make a charisma saving throw and can refuse the request on a success. On a failed save, it must choose either truth or dare. If the target selects truth, it must answer the question and must do so truthfully. An affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus be evasive in its answers as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth. If the target selects dare, the caster can command it to perform a simple task limited to a sentence or two, as long as the task doesn't pose the risk of serious bodily harm at the DM's discretion. The target must perform this task to the best of its ability until the task is completed or until the spell ends. If you or any of your companions damage the target, the spell ends. So this is available for Bard and a Trickery domain, and this is made by actually a good friend of ours, James Hake. So I didn't notice that part until the end, so this is kind of cool. Totally love this one, and it's awesome.
I also noticed that too. I was like, oh wait a minute, I know that person. I think it's okay. I don't know if it's totally awesome. So the only thing that I come to right away is the fact that it's a 2nd level spell, and I believe Zone of Truth is also a 2nd level spell, and it feels like this does basically what Zone of Truth does plus more. So I feel like it's like a slightly more powerful version.
So I feel like Zone of Truth affects all creatures in an area, whereas with this, on your turn, you select one person that's affected by the spell per round, so long as they're in that area. So that's where I feel like this works out. My only issue here is there's no action mechanic on the caster each round as to what it takes. Is it a free action that they can select somebody, bonus action, your standard action? So that's my only issue here, but it's a minor tweak. I think it's awesome, and who knows whether this is going to come up in any of my games. But I would totally allow it.
So beware if you're playing intense games, for sure. I went with Arcane Anchor, and that is by Nerdarchy. And it's a 5th level spell, casting time of 1 action. Range area is 60 feet. Components are verbal, somatic material. Duration 1 minute. Concentration, and obviously it's a school of enchantment. And there's a saving throw for wisdom, and it's a control effect. Choose a humanoid that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be anchored to the current location. For the duration of the spell, the target's movement speed becomes 0. If a spell removes the target from its current location, such as a teleportation or plane shift spell, the creature immediately returns to original location of the arcane anchor. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make another wisdom saving throw. On a success, the spell ends for the target. Higher levels, when you cast a spell, you can use the spell slot 6th level or higher. You can target 1 additional humanoid. For each slot above 5th level, the humanoids must be within 30 feet of each other when you target them. You can cast this if you are a bard, cleric, druid, sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. I only got one, I think it's kind of perfect the way it is. The only thing I don't understand is why it only targets a humanoid. It's a 5th level spell, so I feel like that's a powerful spell.
Sure.
And I think any creature would be fine.
Sure, I definitely see it. There was a number of very, very interesting options in here. We already discussed, the fact of my issue with power word yeet.
Yeah.
But word choice aside, there was no problems with that particular spell. The name Curse of the Sparkling Fairy definitely drew my interest, and I had considered that one. But the spells that I think we picked here are good, solid choices. With a couple of tweaks, I think they would be, perfect to add into any game.
I was this close to picking wardrobe malfunction, which is hilarious, and it's a cantrip. And if you have no wardrobe to malfunction, it summons wardrobe on you to malfunction.
Well, sometimes that's just how it's got to go, right?
Sometimes that's just how it's got to go. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you creating your own homebrew spells and putting them in games? Have you put any of them over on D&D Beyond? Share your ideas, thoughts with the Nerdarchy community down below in the comments.
If you want to appease the YouTube and Nerdarchy algorithm, why not do all those fun things like, share, subscribe, even go ahead and click that notification bell. You know the drill.
Quick reminder, we drop new videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so come on back. But you can't wait till then. No worries, we've got you covered. If you want another top 10 homebrew spell, you can check out Illusions up here or down below in the cards.
So until next time, stay nerdy.